Welcome back to Tech Tuesdays. This week we'll be exploring OBS, the program that we looked at last week. We'll be taking a look at scenes and how they can make your setup easier. Let's get into it. Last week we set up a basic stream with one camera and one audio input. That works for a limited setup, but what if we have to have multiple cameras? That's where OBS really shines. As an example, we'll be looking at Ottawa Citadel's livestream setup. We have two PTZ cameras mounted on the wall to be used for multiple angles. One camera is mainly for the pulpit, and one is used to switch between the band on one side of the platform and the songsters and piano on the other side of the platform. Having two cameras allows one angle to be moved while the other is being shown on the live stream. One of the cameras is controlled by a PTZ controller. With this controller, you can move the camera around with the joystick manually, or you can call presets for certain angles. For audio, we have a Behringer XR18. This board is a digital board with 18 inputs and 8 outputs. The board is controlled completely through the XR app, where you can see all of the dials, buttons, and faders that you would typically see on a hardware mixing board. One of the benefits to using a board like this is that it takes up less space in the sound booth. It can also be controlled from anywhere in the building as long as you're connected to the same network. To connect the board to our live stream, we can just plug the board into our computer over USB to get access to all 18 input channels in OBS. We also have a USB capture card that takes a signal from our PowerPoint laptop and feeds it in as an input. This allows us to have lyrics, scripture readings, videos, or whatever we need from the projector feed sent into OBS for the live stream. Let's open up OBS to see how we have things set up. You'll see that there's quite a few scenes in the Scenes tab. They are all labeled by what they are used for. When we click on a scene, it switches the configuration of cameras and audio inputs that we need for that scene. For example, when we just need the pulpit camera and pulpit mic, we go to the scene labeled Pulpit, No PowerPoint. If we need to see the PowerPoint for the lyrics or scripture readings, we can select Pulpit with PowerPoint. Then if we just want the band camera and band mics, we can select Band Selection. You can see in the Sources tab that when we switch to a different scene, we have a different set of sources. These sources are the ones that are currently being used for the feed to the live stream. You can hide sources if they aren't needed anymore on that scene by clicking on the eye icon. Each of our scenes are set up with a number corresponding to that particular scene. That number is also set as a preset for the PTZ controller to move the camera to the correct angle. So if we need to call up the piano hymns scene, we can call preset 5 on the controller, and when it's finished moving, we can switch to that scene in OBS. In the default view in OBS, the video preview is what is being shown on the live feed. But if you select studio mode, there's two video feeds on screen. The one on the left is the preview feed that shows a preview of the next scene. And the one on the right is the program feed that is what is being shown on the live stream. It's best to use studio mode because it allows you to see the preview of the next scene to make sure that it's the correct camera angle and sources. To switch between angles, you can press the transition button in between the two screens, or you can set up a hotkey to press on the keyboard to start the transition. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Tech Tuesdays. If you have any questions or comments, my email is on the screen and in the description down below. I'll see you next week.